Hello, YouTube. Welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Denoy, Diabetes Edition. All right, we're actually breaking some diabetic rules because we're going to try to make fried rice. But I have tried to keep in mind some of the good vegetables and things like that, carbs and all the other stuff that you have to consider now, or I have to consider because I'm trying to manage my diabetes right now. But I wanted to make some fried rice, and it's similar to what we make normally, except I'm adding a lot more greens and a lot less rice. And this is all the materials or all the ingredients I'm going to be using. It is actually not going to be one serving. This is going to be enough for 2, possibly 3 servings. If I end up with too much of it, I'm going to save it, like bag it, store it, and then just use it for like later, heat it up when I want something quick to eat. But the idea is to use a lot of greens, a lot more greens than normal, and a lot less rice than normal. Now I do have some fresh cooked rice and some leftover rice that I tossed in with the fresh rice. And instead of using my regular canola oil or vegetable oil, I am using extra virgin olive oil. I am going to use this Kikkoman soy sauce, which is bad. It's got a lot of sodium in it, but I think that gives it the flavor. And it's not so much, salt isn't so much bad for diabetes, but from what I've been reading, but it's bad for blood pressure, high blood pressure. So I'm going to use it, but try to not use too much. And for what I've got for the ingredients mostly here, I have something that'll be different, which is the Brussels sprouts. I do have some fresh broccoli. This is broccoli, right? Yeah. And is this broccoli or asparagus? No, this is broccoli. Asparagus is the white one. And I do have some chopped mushrooms. And I have rotisserie chicken from Walmart. And then I have the mix, I call it the stir fry mix. This one here, the stir fry mix from Walmart. This is the sugar snap pea stir fry. So that's the one that I'm using. So it's that's also in there. And all of these are going to be tossed into the pan there once I heat it up and cooked up. And then I'm going to throw in some rice and soy sauce and we should be done. So stay tuned. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the heat. I like this little skillet thing I picked up at Goodwill. I think I bought it for like, I don't know, probably about $5 or $10 less. It actually cooks pretty fast and allows me to cook using electricity. And since I don't have to pay, any additional fees for the electricity where I'm staying, this is a way I'm saving money. Now I do use the butane cooker when I'm cooking certain things really fast. When I have to heat up water or something real fast, I'll use that. So I'm going to use some olive oil, quite a bit, not too crazy. I would say probably about, I'm going to guess about 2 tablespoons. So we're going to use the olive oil as our base, and we're going to toss in all this all these veggies and stuff. So I don't think the water matters so much. Some of this is frozen and some is not. But I'm going to go ahead and toss the meat in and the frozen. So this is all just being tossed right on in. There's a lot of greens. Oh, I also had celery that I chopped up and put in there for a little bit of crunchiness. And you see the snap peas had like some peppers. It looks like it had bell peppers in there. And of course, the big new thing is the Brussels sprouts, which I like Brussels sprouts, it turns out. I normally don't eat Brussels sprouts. This is a lot of greens. And honestly, you could use this as a, if you didn't want to use rice, you could cook it just like this as stir-fried vegetables. And I know some people are going to say this is bad, but I am going to add some of our Magical Badia just to give it some flavoring. It has salt and other things in it, including an MSG. But I'm going to do that because I want the food to have some flavor, Not going super crazy on it, but quite a bit, enough to flavor it. So that's going to fry up a little bit. And even as that's frying up, I'm going to add the rice. So this is really not much different than how I normally make my rice. You know, my fried rice, if you've seen it in the past. So we're kind of doing the same thing, but there's a lot more greens. And also when I serve it, you know, I'm serving it with fresh greens. I'm making it a point right now to try to serve stuff with lots of green. Basically, the way I've been trying to partition my food is almost half green, and then about a quarter rice with some other carb, rice or potatoes, and then well, that's pretty much it. Mostly greens and potato and rice, but more greens, maybe a third rice. So this looks like a lot of rice, and when I cook it up, it's probably going to be a lot. This is I'm looking at it right now by the amount that's here, and I can tell that this is going to be more food than I can eat in 1 or 2 settings. It looks like, from me looking at it, I'm guessing here, probably about 3 or 4 settings. 3 or 4 is what we're looking at. So I'm just going to pour this on here. And I know it's quite a lot, which is probably bad if you're, you know, if you're trying to control your blood pressure. And I am trying to control my blood pressure, but it's not too bad right now. It looks like it's actually going down as I've been, you know, eating more greens. And I haven't been eating like fish sauce and other things that I normally eat. And when I make like the Thai chili peppers, I use fish sauce. So I'm holding off on that until my weight gets like under control. So for now, you know, I think it's okay to use a little bit of soy sauce in my cooking. I don't want to totally like change everything and then just have food that I don't enjoy, you know. And I know there's lots of diets that you could try to go on. Some people mention like keto, which I guess it's called keto, or is it keto, that people seem to actually use and seems to be helping them. So I'll be researching more on that, because, you know, the more knowledge you have, the better. But meanwhile, this to me, you know, if this works and I'm able to control it, it's pretty much almost like my normal foods that I normally eat. But instead of, you know, eating the same amounts, I'm reducing the amount. And I'm increasing more greens in it. That's why it looks so green. And trying to include more vegetables and stuff. And I think my biggest change is just dropping soda pop. You know, I don't drink sodas anymore. Eventually, once my blood level gets low, I'll probably start drinking, not sodas, but I'll start drinking like Thai coffee, which is super sugary, but not that much, you know, like maybe once a week or something as a treat. Of course, it's like a numbers game. You got to balance. Like, I know if I have the Thai coffee, then I probably shouldn't have any other sweets for that day. So this is all pretty much done, because you know, cooking fried rice is just kind of heating things up. Except that I know that I had some frozen food in there, you know, frozen veggies. So what I'm going to do is put the lid on it and let it heat up a little bit. That way it'll be, you know, thawed out. I don't want to eat cold stuff. But I don't want to overcook the veggies either, because when you cook veggies, it tends to destroy the nutrient values. But this is how I plan on serving the rice. This is the one serving. You can see I actually do have fresh greens that I'll be including. I have cucumbers, and I have lettuce and onions. Now, from what I was reading, because basically to find out what I can eat or not, I Google, like, are onions bad for diabetics, or are, you know, is cucumbers bad for diabetics, or whatever. And it tells you, when you look at the sources and stuff, just make sure it's a good source. It tells you what foods you can kind of eat and should kind of avoid. You know, I guess everything's a guideline. People can eat whatever they want, but certain foods are going to have more impact on you. But supposedly onion is very good for diabetics, because it's supposed to reduce the blood glucose level. So I'm including the onions. So you know, if this works and helps me to continue my weight loss and to control my sugar, I may be eating a lot more fried rice. The one thing that will kind of hurt a little bit is the salt, you know, from the soy sauce. So I'm going to say the food's done. It only took a couple minutes because we're just heating things up. So we're going to put together our serving. I'll show you what a serving looks like for me. I do want to save some of this, so I can possibly save it potentially for work, because there's so much of it. You know, this is way more than one meal. It's way more than 2 meals. So I'm going to go ahead and scoop this up. And it has greens in the fried rice and fresh greens. So that's a lot of rice, but I think that will do. Maybe a little bit more. I'm going to grab some more of these broccoli. Try to not grab too much rice. But I want to make sure that whatever I have here will fill me up. So this is the plan. All right, we got the variety of stuff, and so this is going to be my serving right here, my my meal for today. So we'll see what happens. And I'm looking at that and looking at this. I probably got enough for 3 other servings, 3, maybe even 4 more servings, which means I will probably bag it or something and freeze it, and that way I can nuke it and eat it. You know, it's not gonna be as good when I do that, because each time you freeze this stuff and then nuke it or warm it back up, you're losing nutrients, because it's better to eat stuff fresh. But I do mix it with fresh stuff, so even if the cooked stuff isn't as good, you know, it'll offset it. So this is our meal. Here then is my finished product. It is fried rice, chicken fried rice, made with rotisserie chicken from Walmart. I do have a mix of fresh as well as frozen, and that was fresh. And to give it a little bit of flavor, a little bit of zing, I am going to toss in some lemon juice, a little bit of lemon juice, and you know, this from this lemon thingy here. And for my drink, it's water. So this is going to be today's brunch, if you want to call it that. It might also be dinner. I may have the same thing for dinner. Although, I don't know, because I've had, you know, this is a lot of rice. But maybe it's not as much rice as we think, because, you know, it's got chunks of big greens underneath it. So maybe there's not as much rice here as we think. So I'll go ahead and enjoy this and give you a report afterwards. Until next time, everyone, take care. I hope you're eating well wherever you are, and I hope you found this video interesting, if not, entertaining. Bon appetit. Bye-bye now.